Hitscan DPS are on the rise in Overwatch 2. Sure, you can find a lot of value out of heroes like Reaper because of their insane damage output and different abilities that make them versatile and have more survivability. But since you have two DPS characters on your team, you can have one person playing Hitscan and someone else playing more of a projectile gimmicky character. I say gimmicky in a nice way. Each character has their own gimmick, such as Tracer's Blink, Sombra's Invis and Translocator before she gets reworked, and May's general deviousness. The one hit scan that you should absolutely be learning how to play is Ashe, because she's in this state at the minute where no matter what rank you're in, she absolutely dominates because of her different abilities and high damage output. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can get the most value out of playing her, from breaking down her kit to some secret techniques. By the end of this video, you should understand how to play Ashe a little bit more competently. But first, I'm going to ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video, as I want to continue making Overwatch 2 related content that's not only entertaining, but educational too. First things first, let's break down her kit so you know what does what. Her gun has 2 fire rates depending on whether you're scoped in or not. If you're scoped in, the gun acts more like a sniper and allows you to hit some shots from pretty far away with increased damage. She has a damage fall off of about 50 meters, which is actually quite far. This damage fall off also applies to a secondary fire rate, a hip fire shot that has a much higher rate of fire but deals slightly less damage than when scoped in, allowing her to secure quick picks onto the enemies. This firing mode is better at close range, as you're more likely to hit your shots. If you get too close to your enemies, then your coach gun can help you get out of these situations, as it fires you backwards from the enemy and deals a little bit of damage. So if they're really low on health, you can finish them off with this as well as position yourself somewhere safe at the same time. This coach gun can also be used to get you up to the high ground if you fire at your feet and move backwards, which, as a sniper, you want to be taking advantage of. Ashe is primarily a sniper, so having the high ground like Widowmaker is going to be a very important thing for you. Last but not least is her dynamite, which sets her enemies on fire after a short amount of time or immediately after if you shoot it. The best thing to do is shoot it so that the enemies can't just walk away from it and not get affected by it. You want it to actually do something and not just waste it. Be careful when using your dynamite though, because you can actually set yourself on fire too. My first tip for learning how to play Ashe is to create the off angles, position yourself well, and play away from the rest of your team. Obviously regroup with your team if you start getting low on health and can't find any available health packs. But if you're attacking from one angle whilst the rest of your team is attacking from the other angle, it gives you the opportunity to get some nice picks onto the enemies from the flank because they're not paying attention to you. Do this at range rather than barging in and getting yourself absolutely destroyed by the entire enemy team and getting set back to spawn because of bad positioning. So snipe them from behind, and if they start focusing you, use your coach gun and run away. You could even use your dynamite before running away too to deal extra damage and gain more ult charge whilst you go and regroup with your teammates. My second tip for learning how to play Ashe is to simply change your reticle. Most of the default reticles in Overwatch are pretty bad and can actually hinder your gameplay without you even noticing. You're going to be much more accurate with a reticle that you've made to fit your playstyle because you're naturally more comfortable playing with the settings that you've set yourself. So changing your reticle to fit what you like is going to make you play a lot better and hit a lot more of your shots. Now, this is up to personal preference, as you might prefer something like a crosshair over a dot. Personally, I like using a dot when playing Ashe because she's a hit scan. The edge of the dot is where I know personally that I'll hit a shot regardless, but the center of the dot allows me to be a lot more precise and hit headshots easier than I would using the default reticle. My third tip for learning how to play Ashe is to learn what kind of situations to use B.O.B in and how exactly he works. Now, B.O.B is a great ult because of how much damage he can deal and how much health he has. He's like a stripped back Orisa when it comes to his bullets and health bar. Upon initial use, if he hits an enemy directly when he's running, this knocks them into the air, allowing you to snipe them whilst they're airborne, which is actually easier for you because you're playing a hit scan hero. After he's deployed, he attacks whatever enemy you're attacking, helping you secure the kill, rather than trying to get kills himself. The best way to use him is when you're flanking the enemy team, as they won't notice that he's coming from behind them, and he'll run to your teammates, helping them draw the attention to him up front rather than the enemy team trying to kill your actual teammates. My fourth and final tip for learning how to play Ashe is a little secret technique, and that's learning how to two-bang. Now, this isn't just something easy to learn, it's more of an intermediate technique that increases her damage output on the close range enemies. Essentially, to do this trick, you need to be fairly close to an enemy and hit one unscoped shot, then ADS and hit a scope shot to finish off the enemy. This is kind of like Ashe's version of Roadhog's old hook technique, where he could one-shot you after hooking. As you can see here, it takes me 3 shots to kill this Doomfist using this technique, whereas if I didn't use the scoped in shot, it would have taken me 4 hipfire shots. Try using this in games if you can, and you'll see yourself getting some very easy kills when the enemies try and push you out of the flank. Obviously, these are critical shots, but if you hit it on a body shot or a shield, you'll see yourself destroying the enemy regardless. If anything, it's better to use this technique on shields because it breaks the shields near enough instantly. But that just about does it for my guide to learning how to play Ashe. She's a brilliant DPS character to learn regardless of how long you've been playing the game. Whether you're a new player who doesn't really know where to start, or a veteran player that's never really given her a chance before, you can still get some crazy plays no matter your skill. Overall, she isn't a particularly difficult DPS hero to learn because she's a hit scan. Yes, it can be difficult to know when to use her abilities and how to use them, but ultimately hitting shots with her is pretty easy once you've changed your Reticle to fit your personal preference. B.O.B is a great ult and can definitely be used to change how the entire game is going. You could be getting destroyed on last point and risk not capping or letting the enemy team cap the point, but as soon as you call B.O.B in, that could all change. Granted, he actually does something and doesn't just stand there menacingly. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Once again, I'm going to ask you to like this video, as it lets me know that you find these videos not only to be helpful, but entertaining. Let me know if you have any requests for other heroes in the comments below, and subscribe so you don't miss when that guide comes out. There are some heroes that I probably won't be able to make a guide on, simply because I don't play them enough. But there are many more heroes on the list that I can make guides on than I can't make guides on. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night, and make sure to check out my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.